Over the last 1.5 years, I've been releasing videos on this channel, and as some of you probably noticed, the overall quality of my videos constantly improved. From sitting just anywhere near a window with the camera and mic pointed at me just when I started, to later adding lights, learning how to shape these lights, improving my audio quality, and always searching for the perfect scene to shoot my talking head videos. It's been quite a long way. But now that I feel like I found the right way, at least for now, I thought it might be really interesting for some of you guys to actually see what gear setup I use to shoot my YouTube videos. And this also can show you that you can go pretty low budget but still achieve a professional look. By the way, if you're new to the channel, my name is Tom Streller. I'm a filmmaker, and on this channel I cover everything filmmaking related. So if you're interested in this, make sure to subscribe to not miss any upcoming videos. I guarantee you won't regret it. So the heart of every filmmaking setup is probably the camera, and some of you might even remember when I said something like this. I probably won't switch anytime soon because I don't feel like I've reached the limitations of the A6300 yet. Well, guess what? I switched to the A7 III anyways. But there are actually a few reasons for that I will talk about in my upcoming A7 III review, so definitely stay tuned for that. But to make it short, the A7 III just gives me a few features that were really beneficial for my recent work, like better dynamic range, an amazing autofocus, and the Sony color science I really love, and all of that in both video and photo mode. But keep in mind that up until 2 months ago I filmed all my videos on the Sony A6300, which is by far not an expensive camera at all. One downside to Sony cameras like the A7 III, at least when it comes to filming yourself, is that there is no flip out screen. That is why I got the small HD focus monitor mounted on top of it. This pretty affordable on-camera monitor gives you a great image quality and brightness for shooting indoor and outdoor, as well as really useful features like focus peaking, zebras, waveforms, and even 3D LUTs, which comes in really handy when I shoot my YouTube videos. Of course, you can get a less expensive monitor. There are few available, like the ND Cine 4K, which you can actually pick up for, I guess, under 200 bucks. But a few features like the LUTs input just got me hooked on the small HD focus. To get a beautiful image out of the camera, I usually shoot my talking head videos with the Sigma Art 24mm f1.4. This gives me a wide enough view on the full frame A7 III with an amazingly fast aperture of 1.4, which results in a beautiful depth of field. I'm just really in love with the Sigma Art lenses. I think they are the best affordable prime lenses when it comes to filmmaking. I also put the Polar Pro ND16 filter on to get the shutter speed right, but for talking head you honestly could just crank up the shutter speed a bit. I don't think it's really necessary for those kinds of videos. This whole camera setup sits on my Manfrotto B3 Live tripod, which is essentially a travel tripod, which makes it really lightweight and compact, but the build quality is awesome. And since I don't use a tripod that often besides the YouTube videos, it's totally fine for me that this is not a dedicated filmmaking tripod. I just prefer the portability here. On the tripod I attached this little Tascam DR05 recorder by using a magic arm by SmallRig. I initially got the recorder for file recording stuff, but after trying it out for voice recordings with an external mic, I realized that the audio coming out of this is way better than through the camera preamps, and it also gives me more flexibility on monitoring and levels. So now I record all my voice recordings through this little recorder and later sync it in post with the video. As a microphone I used the good old Rode Video Micro mounted onto a little selfie stick, which I use as a boom pole, and placed right over me to get it as close to my mouth as possible without having it in the frame. This is still Rode's cheapest microphone available, but the great build quality, the super easy way to use it without batteries or any unnecessary knobs is just the best for me. Still the only piece of equipment that is left from my initial filmmaking setup. Now, to make the scene a bit more interesting, I started adding extra lighting around a year ago, but it took me a little longer to actually figure out how to use it properly. I have to admit that with the lights I kinda went the wrong way, because I got some Valimax LEDs, which were like the cheapest good quality LED kit available, but the lights on their own are just not that great to use. There's no dedicated softbox for them, and on their own they are quite harsh. So if I could just go back, I now probably would just spend a few more bucks and buy something like the 120D with an extra light dome. The main key light is placed right next to me, pointing down by around 45 degrees, and the second light is used as a kick light coming from right behind me to add this subtle edge on my face. This is actually a pretty easy way to make a scene more interesting, so if you only have 2 lights available for shooting, definitely try out this 2-point lighting method. I put some white t-shirts on top of both lights to soften them a bit, and this works quite well, but in general anything could work as a diffuser, like a shower curtain or even some white paper. You could also just bounce the light off something huge, even just a white wall, and I did this at first too, but having it this way gives me actually a bit more control over the light spill. Because I prefer to have the background a bit darker, and this is why I added this cardboard to the side of the key light to shape it a bit more. And I think that's it so far. This is my YouTube video setup. Pretty simple, and besides the camera and the lens, it's actually not that expensive gear. I also used the same setup with my previous camera, the Sony a6300, and it worked exactly the same. You wouldn't see any difference if you didn't know. So don't focus too much on the camera you have when you want to start making videos, and rather try to improve your overall quality. For instance, by improving your audio, adding some lights, and just making the scene more interesting. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more filmmaking related videos like this one, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.